Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and Glass follows the tradition of all M. Night Shyamalan movies in the way it throws a whole bunch of stuff at you at the end to confuse you and make YouTube videos about it. We didn't even know until a post-credits scene that Split was a sequel to Unbreakable. Unbreakable being a movie that itself ended with a fascinating twist that was actually two origin stories, revealing Sam Jackson's Elijah Price, Mr. Glass, as a villain mastermind. Here, I'm gonna explain the ending of Glass, answering the big questions you might have coming out of this movie, and of course, spoiler warning if you haven't seen Glass, no one forced you to click on this video, but I'm asking you to go see the movie before I ruin your life. Okay, so what was the twist of Glass? Glass actually ends with 3 third act reveals, which may or may not have been twists depending on whether or not your expectations were actually subverted. In my case, I considered them reveals because I felt like I had no information and then I had some information that I wish I knew earlier. First reveal, David Dunn, Bruce Willis, works with his son Joseph, Spencer Treat Clark, returning from Unbreakable. And after David gets arrested, Joseph does a bit of research, essentially Googling a name, sharp sleuth in there, and realizes that the father of Kevin Crumb, James MacAvoy, died in the same train crash that David survived at the beginning of Unbreakable, East Rail 177. So in a way, Elijah, who sabotaged this train, is responsible for creating the super identities of both David and Kevin, with David discovering his abilities from this incident, and Kevin growing up without a father to help him get the mental help he needed to avoid splitting into the various identities of the Horde. Sure. Second reveal, Dr. Ellie Staple, Sarah Paulson, is actually a member of a shadowy organization that seeks to hide the existence of superheroes from the world. More on that in a second. And third reveal, Elijah's breakout from the facility was actually a suicide mission in front of as many security cameras as possible so that he could film David and Kevin's superheroics to eventually share them with the world. But let's go back and talk about that Dr. Staple reveal first because it's the most bonkers. Throughout the film, Staple sits down with Elijah, Kevin, and David, trying to convince them that their superheroism is actually a delusion, a result of untreated brain damage. At one point, she tries to use a laser device to fix this part of Elijah's brain. It doesn't work because he had already removed the focus lens from the machine. But after the 3 prisoners escape and duke it out in the parking lot, a police sniper shoots Kevin. And we see that this sniper has a clover tattoo on his wrist. So does Dr. Staple. So do a lot of these guys. She touches David's hand and he sees in a vision that she is part of an ancient network, one that has been around for 10,000 years, she says. They apparently gather at public restaurants and wait for the last outsider to leave the room before everyone quiets down and starts their meeting, because I guess the only way to meet in secret is to flash mob. This organization tracks down people with super abilities and silences them through imprisonment or making them think that they're crazy or killing them. Why do they do this? Well, according to Staple, these individuals inevitably clash, and that violence escalates and sucks in innocent people, creates collateral damage. So basically, I guess they're like Hydra, if Hydra's main prerogative was to tell kids Santa doesn't exist. But what do these clover tattoos mean? These guys Irish? Well, actually, the 3-leaf clover, or the shamrock, is an important part of Irish iconography. It has been used as a symbol of the Holy Trinity in Christian theology, and as a symbol for St. Patrick, the Catholic figure who drove the snakes out of Ireland. Perhaps that's how this organization sees itself. Superhero exterminators. Or maybe the number 3 corresponds to the 3 supers of this movie. David, Kevin, Elijah. Like maybe superhero figures appear 3 at a time and they have to quash them in triplets. And that's what they do to these 3. They drown David in a few inches of water, a pothole that filled with water from the ruptured tank, and Dr. Staple begs him to say that she convinced him that his powers aren't real. She doesn't want him to die. She'd probably just rather have him live thinking that his superpowers aren't really in existence. But the overseer can't pretend that he's normal. The guy can bench infinite amounts. He's been using his powers hundreds of times. So yeah, he dies along with Kevin and Elijah. In his final moments, Staple tells Elijah that he was right about his perception of the world through the lens of comic books. That comic books, it turns out, really are a form of media that accurately reflects the secret truth about superpowered humans throughout society. And nowadays, with something like 10 superhero movies coming out every year, it must be harder than ever for the Shamrock Society to keep Debbie Downing everyone. But they ultimately fail because Shyamalan has one last twist/reveal for us. So what was Elijah's plan? Well, from the end of Unbreakable, Elijah's main goal has always been to out superpowered people around the world. It's why he kept causing mass deaths, hoping an Unbreakable survivor would crawl out from the rubble, until it eventually happened with David Dunn. Elijah's greatest suffering isn't that he's locked away and abused by guards, it's that people think his belief in superheroes is crazy.
You know what the scariest thing is? To not know your place in this world. To not know why you're here. It's just an awful feeling.
He hoped that David Dunn's heroism making the paper would be the beginning, and for years it worked. David roamed the streets as a vigilante, people started calling him the overseer, but then David got locked up with Kevin and Elijah, so Elijah's plan had to change. So he orchestrated a breakout, and he claimed that the destination was the new Osaka Tower in downtown Philly, which would give him and his superheroes a huge spotlight. But Osaka Tower was just a misdirect. Instead, Elijah just made sure to break out in the most visible way possible, passing dozens of security cameras that Staple had bragged about installing, running into a number of staff and guards, and getting caught in a police shootout in the parking lot. But before he broke out, he stopped in the facility's security terminal and typed in a bunch of lines of code to upload the security video feed to a private server, the one belonging to his mother, so that she would now possess video evidence of what Dr. Staple was trying to hide. And with the help of Joseph and Casey, they released this video footage on social media and watched in a train station as everyone's phones and tablets light up with these insane viral videos. Because that's how the internet works, right? People see clips of stunts on Chive or Dude Perfect, drop everything, and then say, oh my god, Superman exists! What else have the Shamrock Society been hiding from me? But my question for you is, would you have preferred if Glass hinted at the existence of this anti-superhero society earlier? Maybe lay the groundwork for this shadowy, villainous cult to make it clear what Elijah was fighting against? Or did you like it better as a twist reveal? Comment down below with your thoughts, and follow New Rockstars on Twitter at New Rockstars, me on Twitter and Instagram at Erik Voss, and subscribe to New Rockstars, where we tackle the big questions we all want to know about superhero movies. Like, when are they gonna get to Osaka Tower? Never? It's just like Itchy, Scratchy, and Poochie never getting to the fireworks factory. Like, just go to the fun place.